Hello and welcome back to my channel, and if you've been here before you'll know I like to respond to requests that people have forwarded on to me, and one of the most frequently occurring requests right now is about what people are describing as adrenal fatigue. So this video and the next series of 3 or 4 videos will be all about adrenal fatigue. What do we mean by that? What does it look like? What symptoms do you experience so that you know what we're talking about? And then I want to share some energy protocols, so some quick follow along techniques that allow you to shift that fatigue and allow you to get on and live your life to its full, to its completeness, and so that you can feel like you. So let's start with what is adrenal fatigue, and I'll talk about I'll try and keep it high level and straightforward, but I want to relate this to energy. I work with your energy, not with your physical body, because when we shift our energy, we shift our thoughts and our feelings, and we also shift the way our physical body operates. And it's easier to shift your energy than it is to let go of old thoughts, to let go of your emotions, and to fix your physical body. So shifting your energetic body is the key to rebalancing. And when you're suffering from what's called adrenal fatigue, that means your energy is in disarray. Now, adrenal fatigue can affect people in different ways. So it looks different slightly in everyone's energy system. We're all different. We all respond to things in different ways. So let me describe the physical symptoms first. So when people say they've got adrenal fatigue, they are tired. Even if they've had a good night's sleep, they often wake up feeling exhausted, overwhelmed. They'll have achy joints. They might have a poor immune system. So you quite often just get every sickness that's going. If other people have got a cold or a flu or a cough, you always get the same thing. Your skin will look, maybe spotty, blotchy, dry, scratchy, itchy. You might be prone to more allergic reactions. Basically, you're just at kind of a low ebb. So you'll have low level kind of issues, achiness, tiredness. Emotionally, you'll be maybe frustrated, maybe anxious, maybe overwhelmed on an emotional hair trigger. So fatigue, adrenal fatigue, is a syndrome. I think it was labelled in the 1970s to describe a collective bunch of symptoms, the ones I've just shared, to give people a kind of label to hold on to. Unfortunately, labels carry energetic power, and once people think they've got this thing called adrenal fatigue, it makes them worse because they're thinking, I'm tired, I've got fatigue, my adrenals are broken. It's not actually the case. You're not broken. And the reason you feel tired is because your body is kind of still living like an animal, like a caveman. Your DNA hasn't changed much. So adrenaline, obviously the hormone your adrenals produce, or one of the many hormones your adrenals produce, adrenaline and cortisol are the main stress hormones. You get these adrenal fatigue symptoms when you're stuck in a state of chronic stress. So let's throw away the title adrenal fatigue and let's call it burnout, because what it actually means is that you're in a state of chronic stress. You may not even realize it, because a lot of people who suffer with adrenal fatigue, and if you're watching you might relate to this, they are high performing, high achievers, perfectionists, always putting themselves forward, always being the pillar that other people go to. So they look like they've really got it sorted, but underneath it's like they're just holding it all together, they're gritting their teeth. They're kind of that A-type personality, high blood pressure, high achievers, but high stress. And what happens is when you're in a state of high stress, your body is constantly producing those stress hormones of adrenaline and cortisol. And what that means is your body is basically overproducing those and not getting enough of the other hormones that your body needs to work in perfect balance. So let me go back a little bit and explain why when you're in high stress, why your body isn't working. Someone wrote a lovely book, and I'll have to look it up and put it in the post afterwards because I can't remember his name, but it's Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. And it's basically referring to what I'm going to talk about now. So we are like an animal, and we're like an animal when we're in a kind of a frightening environment, when we're stressed out, we go into fight, flight, or freeze, and we produce adrenaline and cortisol to give us that ability to run really fast or to fight really hard and to get away from our threat, our danger. And with a zebra, if a lion is chasing a zebra to catch it and eat it for its dinner, it will automatically shut down all other symptoms. So it will shut down its ability to digest its food, because you don't need that if you're about to get eaten, or if you're about to run as fast as you can to outrun the lion. You don't need your immune system, so that gets shut down too. You don't need to grow your hair because it doesn't matter what your hair looks like if you're about to be eaten. So all of the non-vital systems, the things that are vital for a good, long, healthy life, lived to its fullness, those are shut down. And your adrenaline and cortisol tell your body to pump blood really fast, to get your heartbeat going, to kind of get you really hyped up so that you can deal with the moment. And the exact same thing is happening to us. The only difference is a zebra, as soon as the lion is gone, they kind of shake themselves off, and it's almost like when they shake their body, they do that kind of shaking of the mane. That is allowing their system to reboot and to reset. And they are shaking off that excess energy, the excess emotion, and that kind of, basically the stress hormones. They're flushing them out of their system. And they instantly return to a state of calm, and they'll start munching away at the grass again. So a zebra can be chased by a lion 1 minute, and in calm, rest and digest, parasympathetic nervous system, para as in parachute, in that calm space where they're restoring and rebooting, and they are flushing out those hormones. Unfortunately, we haven't quite learned to figure out what's real life-threatening danger versus just high stress. So in the 21st century, our toxic lifestyle where we're turned on 24/7, we're attached to a laptop, attached to our iPhone, living surrounded by lots of people in big cities, we are constantly feeling stressed, feeling triggered. And every time we're triggered, we might look like we're in control. We might say we're in control. We might say we thrive on stress. But inside, the bits we can't see, our body is creating that adrenaline and that cortisol, and it's flooding our systems. And what it means is we're constantly lowering our immunity. We're actually depleting our body from nourishment because we're not digesting our food. We're getting rid of it quickly and not taking the nutrition from it. So we're unable to restore, we're unable to rejuvenate. Our body is literally kind of almost eating itself. Our bones and muscles start to waste. Our hormones get out of balance. So actually when you're in an adrenal fatigue, the so-called syndrome, your adrenals are fine because they're happily pumping things out until actually they've learned that this is bad. We shouldn't be pumping all this stuff out. And that's when it goes even worse for you physically, because you stop producing cortisol, and actually your body needs a little cortisol for all of the bodily functions to operate perfectly. And that's when you go into underproduction of cortisol, and it's a state that you can actually die from. That's called adrenal crisis. So don't get confused with adrenal fatigue. It literally just means you're burnt out because you're in a state of chronic stress, and you'll suffer from all those physical symptoms. It's very easy to spot, but it's not an illness. You're not broken. And because that syndrome of burnout, we call it burnout, means so many different things are being affected in your body. So if you're a woman, you might get really bad PMS. If you're an older woman, you might get really harsh menopausal symptoms, heavy bleeding, fainting, collapsing, nausea, incontinence, all sorts of things. And it can slow down your thyroid, so you start to gain weight. And with a man, it can mean that you can get hyper angry, you can find it difficult to control your emotion, you get really aggressive, and everything is a need to kind of prove yourself. And that can often lead to It's the classic kind of type A, the kind of the high blood pressure, sometimes high cholesterol, and potentially heart attack. So adrenal fatigue is something that when you experience those symptoms of burnout, you need to take note. And your energy, let's get back to energy, because that's my love, that's my passion. Your energy collapses in on you. It's not flowing properly. It goes into disarray, and your energy follows habits in the same way that your body does, in the same way that your thoughts and your emotions do. Habits form in your energy as well as everywhere else, and that disarray in your energetic body falls into a habit of disarray, and you start to get your energy not flowing, stagnant, and sort of blocked places, dark places. It goes dark and basically chaotic, for want of a better word. And according to the symptoms you have, if you're a woman going through severe menopausal symptoms, you quite often have lots of dark areas around here, patchy, splotchy, sunken, and your aura, your biosphere is shrinking to your body. So we can shift that. It sounds awful, and it is awful because people kind of put up with it. You kind of re-normalize, you accept that you've gained the extra pounds, you accept your high blood pressure, and what do? We go to the doctor and we take some pills, and those pills have a side effect because they don't cure the underlying issue of basically being in chronic stress. They try and fix a symptom. And when we fix a symptom, so with a woman, if you're given hormonal tablets, well, you've got many hormones. When you're in a state of constant stress, actually you're not producing the sex hormones of estrogen, testosterone and progesterone. So you're going all out of sync, completely out of balance. So taking a tablet for one isn't putting you back into balance, it's just boosting that particular hormone. The balance is not happening. So quite often, if you're having some type of menstrual hormonal course, where you've got thyroid deficiencies and you're having a thyroxine hormone course, or if you're having any type of pill which is fixing one specific thing, we're a network or a really complex system, and it still stays out of balance. So quite often it just doesn't work. Energy, on the other hand, is intelligent. So energy protocol shifts your energy back into balance. It's smart. Your energy knows how to adapt. It's like an adaptogen. Your energy shifts when I share these energy moves in the way it needs to restore your balance. So that's the background. We want to get out of burnout. We want to get out of that adrenaline fatigue syndrome. We want to stop overproducing cortisol, because cortisol is known as the wear and tear hormone. So it wears you out, it tears you out. It's a bad thing. So let's move on to the next piece of work. And I'm going to put this in 2 videos, so you've got a really comprehensive explanation of what symptoms to look out for and why you're in that place. Now we're going to share in the next video how to shift you out of that imbalanced and get your energy to rebalance back into cohesion, so that you no longer suffer from adrenal fatigue or from that burnout. Thank you so much for listening. Stay with me, and I hope if you've got people who are suffering in this way, you tell them about this series and share the channel. Show me some love. Show the channel some love. Like and subscribe so that more people get to see this. Thank you so much for listening in.